And I'm here with our ever-loving prairie bitch, Allison Arngrim, and our favorite ice delivery boy, Dean Butler.
That is very good. Nice, Pamela.
Got to do a little zinger in the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I might note that today, if you're watching this on YouTube, things have gone terribly awry for Allison. And I hate to tell you that post-prairie, she's now living in her car. No, she's not living in her car. She's in her car today because she was doing a very good deed for a friend, but she wasn't able to get to the studio. So, and Dean has started a terrible habit now of smoking.
I've got my rolled up napkin and I'm smoking it.
Yeah. I think if there was
prairie's gone down.
What has happened, dear God, we're falling apart. So if this was ever a moment for a selfie, you guys, please go ahead. We'll do it on socials and show your
here it is.
Your ridiculousness.
Here it is. And
I'm
here
in
it
the
is.
car.
Good.
I'm a studio in my car.
Anyway, you could tell we're a little kooky today. How are you guys? No, in all seriousness, how are you?
No,
What's
good.
happening?
Good.
Yeah.
No, it's busy. I mean, Allison, I didn't get to your show this last weekend.
Yes, Miss
or 2
Fancy
weekends ago. So
Allison.
you were bitching in Southern California for 2 weekends.
I was completely sold out. Yeah. So my show, Confessions of a Prairie Bitch, which I adore doing. And am I in? Where am I? I'm trying to center
Look
myself.
at you.
Look,
You're
there I am.
scrunched down in your car.
Doing my show.
This is car realness happening.
At the Sierra Madre Playhouse, which is a marvelous place. In fact, I'm going back this weekend because they do a whole silent movie thing. I'm going to see Harold Lloyd silent films and stuff there.
Cool.
They're an amazing place. They do music, they do comedy, and they do theater. And the people at Sierra Madre, I know a couple were like bugging me for like 2 or 3 years. Could you please bring a show? And I have my one-woman show, Confessions of Prairie Bitch, that I do where I talk about the prairie and being a crazy ex-child star and growing up in Hollywood, and my dad managing Liberace and my mother being Gumby.
Your normal story.
As you do. And so I did it Sierra Madre for 2 whole weekends, like 7 shows counting previews, and it was sold out to the rafters. My favorite was my publicist was posting on Facebook. People go, Harlan, I can't get a ticket. I'm her publicist. I couldn't get a ticket. I mean, there was no room. And people all started calling like the last weekend going, hey, I was going to come see your show. But they're like, yeah.
So are you going to do it again?
Apparently.
Good.
Yes, I don't know when, because of course I booked everything back to back. So I'm off to St. Louis for the Working Women's Conference, and then I go to France, and then I come back for the CME event. But now I have people who are all, apparently there's this other theater, I won't name them now in case it's going to be surprised if I wind up playing there. It's very nice, not too huge, but bigger than Sierra Madre. And I have 2 friends who are like super buddies with the people who run it, and they're all like, they want you there. Can they just call you? Can they just call you? I'm like, okay. And they're all just like, I couldn't get a ticket to your show, so could you please play this other theater?
It's awesome. That's so great.
It's fantastic.
But it was awesome. But I'm so excited about our guest because I watch her show. I've seen her videos.
Well, let's not bring her in just yet. I mean, we've got more small talk before that.
Yeah, so I had the show. Dean, your book is like any second. You're available.
Yeah, no, exactly. I've just finished, and I know you know this process. I've just finished the line notes with the printout page conformed version of it, going through hundreds and hundreds of notes. I'm just wondering, when you wrote your book, when you got the printout and you're doing that final liner note kind of thing, how many notes were there? Was it a lot?
Oh my God.
Was it a little?
Well, my favorite was the 3-day long conversation just with legal. I was like the legal department with the things I said. It's like I got on the phone with legal. She's like, this is going to take a while. Let's start on page 1. I was like, oh dear. I was on the phone with legal for 3 days. That was fun. But they sent me a thing, and it was like an electronic thing, so I could even see it. And then initially there were some changes where they would say, that's not the word for that. And I'm like, yeah, I know it's not the word for that. I was using it as like a expression. It's okay. And so we had to fix that. There were a couple of changes where I called my agent and go, no. Mostly they were really cool. And then a lot of it was saying, okay, could you now redo this chapter? I mean, we went back and forth. And it was months and months. So much coffee was involved to finish my book.
What year did you actually publish the book?
It came out in 2010, and I know I spent all of 2009.
It feels like it came out yesterday. It feels like it came out. That's amazing.
Because it came out as the paperback in 2011, which normally doesn't do anything. This may happen to you. This may happen to you. Normally, the paperback's like, la, 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 the paperback. Paperback came out and exploded, and I wound up going on The View for the paperback. Or as my agent and everyone said, nobody goes on The View for the paperback. What do you mean? I don't know. They discovered it. This may happen to you, Dean. You may be someone where the paperback comes out and there's like another whole wave of like it just came out.
Well,
and then people weren't doing audiobooks. Now
right. And I haven't started that process yet.
Oh God, Dean, you have to do the audiobook.
Years. I did the audiobook years after I wrote the book.
Oh wow.
And then that was a big thing. So it's all very weird.
Nice.
Yeah, you're gonna be riding the publicity cuckoo train for a while on this. Yours is good.
Allison, who do you think the people reading your book are? Like, what do you think your demographic is?
I get them all. Well, first of all, it's weird, and this was the thing I was explaining to like my friend Steve who's written a book. More women than men buy books. This thing, it's women buy far buy more books than men, and it's often the 40-older women. Then there's the younger women, and that's why you'll see things like 50 Shades of Grey. Worst book ever written. 50 Shades of Grey being like hugely popular because that's. I of course have a huge following in the LGBTQ community, so I have a lot of young gay men reading my book because I've had people just flat out tell me I wasn't old enough for Betty Davis or Joan Crawford. Nellie Olson was like my diva character. So huge like gay readership, huge female readership, huge prairie fan readership, and then of course with everything I talk about in the book. Like I got rated on Amazon number like 1 or so in Hollywood history because I did so much Hollywood history in my book. So the history. Wow. You want to know about the Chateau Marmont? They're reading it.
Oh, wow.
And then because I talk about my childhood and childhood sexual abuse and physical abuse, I have that whole group of people who want to read my book as well. So I get everybody.
Well, Dean, I'm going to be the first one to say it. You are also going to get the gay man demographic for your book coming out.
Yeah.
Because you're the cutie patootie.
I got
hashtag imaginary boyfriend.
I was sent a picture from a friend who was at a health club in West Hollywood, and he snapped a picture of a guy who came in with my face on his T-shirt as he was as he was there to work out.
You had me at health club in West Hollywood.
Yeah, and I had no idea that such a thing existed, and it was one of those Almanzo. No, I didn't know that. I mean, I just didn't even consider that something like that could happen.
Dean, I literally was just interviewed. I was literally just interviewed on a different podcast, and he was like, "What are you up to?" And I said, "Oh, I'm doing this podcast with I don't know if you ever watched Little House on the Prairie, but I'm with Dean Butler, who played Almanzo." And he went, "What?" he was like, "Yes, I know who Almanzo was. He was my little gay dream my entire life."
God, wow! I'm feeling warm.
And you're on TV.
That's I know. I always make him blush. That's my job. That's just officially my job.
It's easy to make him blush. You're handsome and you're on TV. Boom.
There you go. Yeah. That'll do it.
You were nice, and you were a very nice boy. So that was very nice.
Yeah.
What's anything? What's up the update with Simi Valley?
Well, the project is coming along incredibly well. I mean, we're doing doing roads.
Ooh,
and
someone worked.
I know we're doing new roads, and the facades are coming together. You're seeing a picture of facades on the screen now.
I guess.
And this is we're moving things out of 3D into storage before they get moved on a truck up to Simi Valley. I mean, there's some really cool stuff going on. I got calls from Leslie Landon, Michael Landon Jr. last week. They're all coming. They're bringing their siblings, their children. So it's Michael's children and grandchildren that are going to be there. I mean, it's really fun.
Is Jen Landon? Can we get Jen? Are we getting Jennifer Landon? We all want Jennifer Landon.
Oh, I don't know
She's
that.
The big star now.
Yeah, I don't know.
That would be awesome because Jen Landon is the big star now. So if she would just fall by for a moment, it would be good.
Well, I just hope that with all of this, and Melissa called me yesterday about something else, and I'm just hoping that if if Michael is looking down on all this, I just hope he's really proud of what's being done, or he's happy about it. That that this love affair with the show is there.
Yeah, he was the one who said, long after we're all gone, they'll still be watching us. He knew there was still going to be a fan base in 50 years. We did.
I had no idea.
But he did. So he would get this. He'd be like, well, of course you're doing this. What, are you crazy? Of course.
Yeah. No,
well, I know a huge part of the fandom is because Little House always represented a safe space for people.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the theme of what today's episode is about, that Little House has been a safe space for millions of viewers, all ages, over the last century. That's crazy to say, the last half century.
Not
century. Sorry, I'm aging
don't
you.
Don't age us that much.
I'm aging you.
But
I know it sounded crazy.
Cool? Yeah.
Half century. So today, you guys are 162 years old. You look great. But today, on today's episode for 50 for 50, we're going to talk with a hugely popular and edgy TikTok comedian about her love of Little House.
I have watched a little bit. She is edgy. I watched some videos and got on the phone with her, and we had to drop an F-bomb right away just to have it feel like we're like talking to each other.
That's my kind of people.
Yeah.
You're talking our language here.
I relate. She is hilarious. And she's
we haven't used her name yet, but she's hilarious. And we're going to use her name in just a moment.
I was imitating her earlier. We're talking.
I'll introduce her in a second, but first I must say, from the studios of UBN Go in Burbank, California, visit SeeMeValley.com presents a special event podcast. This is Little House 50 for 50, baby. The tear ducts are welling, the music stirring. Okay, here we go. I'll say that we, and I know the Dean and Allison, you can agree, and I get these emails too, even for my little series. We get emails and comments all the time. In fact, you guys have all written in. It's been incredible, the response that you guys have given us for this podcast. We read every single one of them. Please know that. But we get comments and emails all the time about people's lives and how Little House really was a safe space for them. Mm-hmm. And the most common term I think I've heard is it's like a warm blanket, Little House. It's like a warm blanket. And Allison, you actually just did an amazing interview on the Jen Broberg podcast. And this is also I'm going to give them a big plug. This is also a podcast everyone should be listening to. And if you're unfamiliar with who Jen Broberg was, there's a documentary on Netflix about her called Abducted in Plain Sight, and a series on Peacock about her also called Friend of the Family. But again, her childhood was riddled with trauma and sexual abuse and abductions, and, sort of couldn't get any worse. And the first thing that she said to Allison on their interview was she thinks Little House on the Prairie saved her life. And it was the safe space for her during all of this happening in her life. And again, this is profound. This is a profound effect that you guys have had on all of us. You guys should listen to this interview. It's incredible.
But I've talked about this in interviews that, for me, because I've shared openly about this in my book and in interviews, that I suffered abuse as a child, that Little House, in a weird way, wound up being a safe place for me because everyone on the set was so kind to me and so respectful. And having the job gave me a place to go and something to do. And frankly, yes, my character, I got to yell and scream and throw things and break stuff. And I cannot tell you how much venting all of that angst and rage.
Yeah.
All therapists have agreed. That did wonders for you. So,
because where else would all of that have gone?
Right. It's got to go somewhere. Yeah. And so being Nellie and the confidence building and having that family on the set and all the things that happened were terribly, terribly good for me. So weirdly, it was a safe space for me literally going there. And then I've heard just from, I can't count how many people where this was their family, when things are not working out with my actual family at home. So I'm going to watch a show. I'm just going to decide that this is my family for the time being until I get to.
Yeah. Okay, should we meet our guest?
Yes, I think we should. Absolutely.
Here we go. She is a content creator and comedian with a large and diverse platform in which she not only promotes healing trauma through laughter, but she also advocates for those with chronic illness. She has also created the popular Pittsburgh-based characters. Oh God, I'm laughing and crying at the same time. The Pittsburgh-based characters Cigarette Mom and Beer Dad to express her experience. I'm laughing because it's so awful. Okay, so excuse me. Here we go. It's not awful. It's awesome. Here we go. Cigarette Mom and Beer Dad to express her. It's right, exactly. To express her experience with trauma to her audience in order to give them a cathartic escape from their own experiences. Let's please welcome to Little House 50 for 50, Kimberly Rhodes. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Kimberly.
Hello.
Hi, Kimberly.
How are you guys?
Oh my gosh, we're so excited you're here.
I am so overwhelmed to be here. You have no idea, but I'll try not. I'm gonna try and keep.
I'm doing this from my car.
The fact
Allison's going to try and keep this light, but I say cry all you want if you want to. It's all understandable.
Yeah. You guys just wow. I mean, Little House. I mean, what Michael created was so phenomenal. And I was telling Dean this the other day whenever we were Zooming, whenever my, not to just, jump right in and, give you all my trauma.
No, jump
go.
in.
But, whenever I use Jekyll and Hyde as a really good analogy for my father. And whenever my dad wasn't drunk, he was a lot like Michael, I think. A lot just like that give your shirt off your back kind of guy, and I can see the goodness, through Michael, and I saw that in my dad. And so I think that's why part of me loved Little House so much, because I never saw my dad not drunk. But I did occasionally, and he was so nice, like, Pa.
Yeah,
so sweet.
Right.
Put me up on your shoulders kind of thing. Yeah. Take me sledding, all that stuff. I was a daddy's girl, just like Laura.
That's such
called me.
Yeah. Go ahead.
He called me Bat Ear instead of Half Pint because my one ear is bigger than
Bat Ear. Well, show us.
Okay. Now I'm not going to be able to hear you, so give me one
Okay.
moment.
Oh.
We're assessing the ear.
Okay, so which one is it? It's this one. So this one is bigger.
Oh, it is. That's wild.
Wow.
I wouldn't call it bat ear, however, but yes, I get it. I get it.
So, Allison,
Term of endearment.
have you muted yourself, Allison?
I said it's like this much different. It's no. Please.
Okay. Yeah, it's very subtle, but your father was finding something to to identify you and be and to create intimacy with you on a certain level. I think that's really fun, and that's where those names come from.
Yeah,
it's this closer connection that's deeper than your given name. That you share just with your father. I'm sure that my grandfather, who was he was an alcoholic and really struggled. He was so charming when he wasn't intoxicated, but when he was intoxicated,
isn't it amazing?
Yeah, it's a very different world that you live in with someone who can flip between
like a switch. Yeah.
And it is just that way because someone's trying to escape so badly that when they go, my grandfather would walk into a bar and throw down 3 screwdrivers in 30 seconds and come back a completely different person than when he went in.
Yeah.
And that's just, so you experienced that with your dad. And people, I want to ask you, it's that quest for normalcy or that quest for something that hunger for something that feels safe.
Yeah.
And that we keep using that word safe, but I think that's such a huge part of what
I think the word is appropriate. Totally. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I even use the word cathartic to explain Little House. Like, I would watch Arthur at 4 after school, and then I would watch it on Hallmark. Little House came on at 5.
Yeah.
that was my shit. You know, I sat there, watched you get your ass beat. Like, it was great, Allison. Like, because I was little Laura. Can I tell you something? And this is so crazy. We had 5 rooms in my house growing up. 5. And so I thought, well, you know what? Hey, at least I'm better off than the Ingalls. They only have like 3 or something. I always but it made me feel better. So, hey, whatever. But yeah, you know, I was getting bullied so terribly for being a country girl, you know, and so like that episode, love that. 'Cause, you know, it's like, you know what? We might be country girls and our paw might smell like manure, but you know what? At least our mom's not Harriet Olsen. You know what I mean?
But see, I think that's why Nellie was so mean. I always believe that Nellie was jealous of Laura because she had this fantastic paw and beautiful mother who cooked and did all these lovely things, was so loving. And I had the narcissistically disturbed Harriet Olsen and Nels who wasn't going to stop her. And then my dumb brother Willie. And here Laura had this beautiful family. Yeah. And why is she happier? I have all the money. Why is she happy? And why is her? So I think that's part of what made Nellie as a character just so mad at her. And I just look at you. I just want to say, you know, on the way over here, I was just like, get out of my way. Don't make me late. I gotta go interview the TikTok girl because I just like watch it. Yeah,
the fact that
you're very funny. You're very
funny. That you are that Dean and are fans of mine. Like what? Like crazy,
girl. I feel the same way. It's bananas. It's a total mind bend.
It is. Totally. But you know what? And this is you know, I've been telling my wife all week that next to the day we got married, this is the best day of my life. And then like having kids, because like God, literally Little House was like, I'm not religious. I'm not, you know, but like, you know, like it makes you, it made my childhood not suck.
Yeah.
Like, like my parents were literally beating each other in the background. Like I can't put a lot of this shit on TikTok. You know what I mean? It'll get taken down. But like my mom would like my mom poured a boiling pot of hot water on my dad. Like my dad, you know, threw my mom across the room, broke her nose. Like that was the normal. It was normal for me to call the cops on my parents.
And you're in the background, you're watching Little House on the Prairie while this is going on, like glued to the screen, so you're not.
Yeah, I mean, that and like a few other shows, but yeah, Little House was like it. Little House was it. And it's funny because all my friends thought I was weird because I liked Little House and they're like, what the hell's that?
Sounds like Hamill.
My grandma watches that and I'm like, you know what? It's a good show. You should try and watch it.
Yeah.
To learn some fucking life lessons.
Yeah.
All right. Easy now.
I think this goes on a lot more than we know. I think this goes on a lot more than we know. That there's a lot of people in situations literally watching it like during horrible things. I think that one thing it did for a lot of people is that showed them it was possible to live another way. That whatever horrible things are going on. Look, these people, I mean, they're actors, but there really was a Laura Ingalls Wilder. And it's possible to live better and have this go on. It doesn't have to be like this. It could be like that. Why can't it be like that? Maybe it can.
Well, and then you would have episodes with little kids who had alcoholic parents.
Sure.
So then you're seeing your life also mirrored in the episode. And I mean, it's so multifaceted.
And there were so many things that I was going on with at the time. Like I saw so much death. I saw so much before the age of 15 that I just shouldn't have seen. And, you know, like having those multifaceted episodes where, you know, I mean, you know, one where Harriet is holding the hand of a black boy. I'll never forget that one. That taught me not to be racist because my mom was screaming the N-word every, you know what I mean? Not my father, thank goodness, but my mom, different story, you know? So that taught me, you know, well, if Harriet can do it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For God's sakes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, you know, like there were so many so many lessons. I mean, I could go on and on about the things I learned from Little House, and genuinely how to be a good person from Michael. Like, just how to be a genuine person, because that shone through his character. Yeah. And I've watched interviews from you guys and how you say, this is how he was in real life. And it shows.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that you say that too, because from what I understand, Michael also, God, it's weird even calling him Michael. Like, I know him on a first name.
I know,
but anyway,
right.
Mr. Landon.
Mr. Landon, yes.
He also had a really difficult childhood. And from what I understand, this show was also catharsis for him to experience what he wished he could have had. Am I right in that, Allison and Dean?
I think absolutely.
100%. Well, he made that movie, The Loneliest Runner, about his bedwetting problem and everything. He actually told a story in The Tonight Show that the whole thing of bringing in my husband Percival to marry Nellie was a whole thing about his mother being tall and blonde and domineering, and his father being a short Jewish man, and his fantasy that his father would one day stand up to his mother, who was like verbally abusive. And I'm like, oh, great. I'm 18 years old and he thinks I'm his mom. Wow. But that the whole Percival, that was from his childhood. A lot of, as you know, as a comedian, Kimber, like, as they say, pain plus time equals comedy. Yep. And
Allison is, as you've talked about before, your part of your coping mechanism and your healing trauma is comedy.
But this is the thing. Most of the great comedians, some of the greatest stuff that we know historically, comedians came out of their childhood. The most unbelievable example, Charlie Chaplin. Before he had The Little Tramp, he had a show called The Inebriate, where he had a sketch about a very drunk guy. His mother was in and out of mental hospitals. His father was an alcoholic. He and his brother were on the streets or relatives alternately. And he was doing Beer Dad. Charlie Chaplin was essentially doing his version of Beer Dad.
Yeah.
The alcoholic father. He impersonated him on stage. And it was a hit and propelled him to where he was. And then he started doing The Little Tramp and became Charlie Chaplin. But his first big gig that put him over was his drunk bit that he did that was 100% his dad. Mm-hmm. And this has happened a bazillion times. You can look up any of the greats. I mean, The Honeymooners, that's Jackie Gleason's parents' kitchen. That's it. It's all of these things are people often using things from their childhood, sometimes not good things from their childhood.
Yeah.
And it's some of the greatest comedy in history. That is a thing that people do.
Right, which is why you have 2.5 million followers on TikTok, Kimberly Rhodes, because you are turning your pain into purpose. You're turning it into art. You're turning into comedy. You're turning into something that people can laugh and cry and then laugh again about.
Yeah,
that must be very healing for you as well.
It really is. Whenever I have people come up to me and just give me a hug and say, I went through what you went through and I'm so sorry. Or the fact, or the comments. I mean, gosh, I wish I could read all the comments. I have a year left of school, but I've taken some time off because of this, but I'm an English major. I'd like to think I can read pretty quickly, but I cannot read all of those comments because there's so many.
Yeah.
It's like, thank you for this, or I relate to this, it's different. Obviously you guys have done your thing. I've done my thing, but we have that. We're on the other end of that catharsis that we have given. And then we're able to have it given back to us by our fans. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So do you think primarily your audience are also sort of trauma survivors?
I would say a good amount. Yeah, I would say a good amount. I also, like you said, I advocate for POTS as well.
Oh, that's right.
And, unfortunately, trauma, those high cortisol levels can really screw up your body.
Explain what POTS is quickly.
Yeah,
I think we need to understand that.
What? Yeah.
So POTS is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. My wife and I both have it. We met on TikTok.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she actually lived in California, and she came the whole way out to Pennsylvania to be with me. And yeah, we both have POTS, and it is essentially our body doesn't communicate correctly to pump our blood around our body correctly. So I don't get a lot. This sounds terrible. I don't get a lot of. I can get not a lot of blood to my brain, so I get very dizzy. I faint a lot. It's terrible. Whoa, who pulled that up? Good job,
Tony. Tony's a good
Tony's
one.
on the ball.
Yeah, Tony.
He's
There
the
you
best.
go.
Tony knows.
Applause for Tony. Can you bring up some applause for yourself, Tony?
Okay, I'll get us struggling.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, Tony. Tony is a genius.
He's the man.
And well, this is wonderful because it is so difficult to explain. So for me, especially having a visual it makes the world.
Yeah,
of
sorry. So listeners, if you watch on YouTube, Tony has put up a picture
Card,
of
a quick card,
yes,
a
card
description
to show
of
us
the
what this
condition.
is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and not everybody faints. I faint a lot. Unfortunately, my wife does not as often, but, there's dizziness, sweating. So everything you don't control, your autonomic nervous system, your heart rate, breath, fatigue, it's literally your whole body.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily look disabled. It's what people would call an invisible illness. And my wife and I, we have to deal with a lot of discrimination, my one friend has a handicap placard, but she can walk. And, this lady waited out by her car to be like, what's your disability? You know what I mean? And it's like, so this is why I want to advocate, because people are literally, and I don't mean this rudely, they're literally ignorant to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they truly don't know unless you have it or you have somebody in your family with it. And it's becoming, because of COVID, people are acquiring it more because whenever your body goes through something traumatic, something like POTS could pop up. So I don't know if there's correlation between my trauma and POTS, but there have been so many people online who have speculated that.
Well, I was going to ask about, it's connected to the vagus nerve that runs on the vagus nerve is my medical, it's all the way down. And the vagus nerve does really interesting things, mostly things you'd rather it didn't do. And I had vagus nerve issues. Oh, gee, and I had trauma. There you go.
Oh,
but
right.
I
Yeah,
didn't
of
have
course.
POTS. But Dean, you recall I was quite the fainter in Simi Valley when it would be, like
See, I thought it was just
120.
because it was hot.
It was like 120 degrees and I'm in that terrible outfit in the wake. But I went nighty-night many times as a girl. And in my 20s, I didn't faint as much, but I get sick a lot. And one day I'm at the doctor. This is just a few years ago as an older person. And we're talking about fainting. And I said, and he goes, oh, did you? And I start telling him, well, I used to faint and I did this. And then I had the thing I threw up. And then and he goes, and he starts asking me those questions. So when you're a teenager, were you very pale? Were you underweight? And he starts rattling off all these. And I go, yes. Did you ever have this? Yes. Who are you? Why do you know this? And he goes, vagus nerve. He said, this is all vagus nerve stuff. You had a sensitivity in your vagus nerve, which is why you would go, goodbye. And POTS is connected to the vagus nerve. It's one of the things it hits. The vagus nerve is smaller, I think, in many people with POTS. And there was a weird thing. You've got cortisone, a hormone, which does all sorts of things you'd rather not have done to you. It's in your body, but you don't want it too high. And people with trauma have it higher. There's a lot of vitamins and stuff like coenzyme Q10, no cure by any stretch, but it's good for lowering the cortisol levels a bit. I know. I love it.
I will have to try. If Miss Allison tells me I need to, then I need to.
Stay tuned for Miss Allison's health tips coming up
They
next.
definitely know. Coenzyme Q10 is good for your heart. It's good for your gums, and it makes your face look terrific. That's what
Well,
they definitely know.
that
They make
explains everything.
Yeah.
I mean, look at
Miss
you.
Magazine cover, by the way.
Look at,
Oh, yeah.
exactly. We all saw
Woman's
that.
World.
I'm gonna know.
It does lower cortisol levels, apparently. I don't know how much. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but that's one of why it's like good for your gums and your face and whatnot. And I know I take it and I feel better. I mean, don't go with the whole bottle. Talk to your doctor first. But
What is it called again?
It's coenzyme Q10. It's in a lot of vitamins. It's on
Okay.
it's in face cream now. It's all
I'll have to tell Hannah about that.
Wow. Okay.
check it out. Because I mean, what the heck? Your gums will feel better. After dental surgery, it's great.
And you know what? I'm gonna need it because I have a tooth missing over here.
There you go.
I love the dental
All right.
talk.
I think we need to take a quick break
All right,
while
we're gonna
we
take a
re-rack
break.
here.
We're going to be right back to talk,
People do not
to
know
talk
about
more
POTS.
with Kimberly Rhodes. And maybe she'll even tell us what some of her favorite episodes are after this from visitsimiValley.com.
So, Simi Valley, California invites you to see the place where it all began. This March at the Little House on the Prairie's 50th anniversary, discover our stories from presidents to pioneers, visit iconic locations like the Reagan Library, and more. Make your own memories at visitsimiValley.com.
Very well done.
Oh, yes,
Excellent.
Dean Butler. Let's get
So
the
good.
phone book for you to read for us. Okay, here we go. All right, we're going to have fun now. Ready? Let's talk about Kimberly Rhodes' favorite episodes of Little House. Here's my question for you. Are you an older Laura person or a younger Laura person? Or you could also think about it as, are you Edwards era versus Garvey era versus Edwards era part 2?
Okay,
That's
See,
great.
only bonnet heads know what this freaking means.
That's great.
This is why you're my people.
That's so hard because little Laura was so courageous, and but big Laura,
Big
Big little Laura.
Big Laura. That's
Yeah.
her rap
Yeah.
name.
like, I really love how whenever she started that teaching job, like she's like, "You're gonna respect me." Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to go with older Laura.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
I
a
have
woman.
to.
I'm a woman, and I hate you all, Laura. Yes.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And can I tell you, Allison, that episode, I have to tell you, whenever you came back and you wore that like bleach blonde wig, that big one,
Yeah.
you came in that big
Oh, yeah.
carriage, the fancy carriage,
top on my
Yeah.
head. Yes.
and you came
The
to
infamous
Lauren's
wig.
house, and you guys were cool, and like you met the little what's her face?
Little Rose. Little
Rose.
baby Rose.
Yes, baby
Baby
Rose.
Rose.
Oh my goodness. Like that was the best because I'm like, oh, so you guys are cool now. Okay.
See,
I love it.
You can have someone in school that you don't get along with. You could even have someone who's even a bully. And it's if you mature, if the two of you work, you could become friends as adults. It totally can happen.
Yes.
See,
And
I
if you marry a
loved-
nice Jewish boy, it'll happen to any
I
of
was
us.
gonna say Percival, like,
All right, so I was going to say, is it Lauren Almanzo or Percival and Nellie? I mean, like, which couple? I mean, really, because
couple?
you're with
Which
both
couple?
of us,
Oh,
so
yeah.
be very careful.
P.S. Dean is sitting right here.
Yeah. So, what do you
He's
think?
right in front of
I mean,
you.
which works for you, or do they both work for you for different reasons?
I'm at the call.
Are you're thinking about it now?
I personally like Percival.
Oh, snap.
Wow.
Sorry,
Okay, Dean.
you.
It's okay.
Laura were perfect.
I'm
Like,
sorry.
You guys had such chemistry.
You're talking about Melissa. Melissa and I had great chemistry.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
Not
I
that
love
you and Allison didn't. It's just like I don't know. It worked. Like her and Percival, and then
Oh no,
Like,
I
it
think
just
it did
worked.
work. I think that
Yeah.
relationship worked extremely well.
Yeah.
The two of them, yeah. There was a nice connection between the two of them. They could talk to each other. You could get to know each other. You understood each other. I mean, I think Allison, it was a wonderful turn for you to have that relationship with
It's
Steve.
incredible. I mean, people loved it because it was kind of like the Shakespeare's Taming of the Shrew episode.
Yeah.
They loved, that whole thing. Oh, she's so bad. I loved the whole episode where I've decided I loved him, but I still haven't converted and gone full Percival yet. And I'm like trying to be nice,
my
but I'm
gosh.
horrible to everyone else but him.
Yeah.
I remember
I
that.
literally just watched this the other day. Dean, I was watching you shiver packed in your ice, and I was watching it, and I was, my legs, I forgot to straighten them, and all of this insane stuff where I'm like, come on, and like screaming at people and then like nice to, and I thought that was fascinating. And then finally she just goes, first of all, I love it, just goes. And it's marvelous because on Little House, they let characters grow and change. They let people grow up. They let people, they let someone, she's not two dimensional. She meets the man of her dreams and somehow works out. Now she's okay. She got better.
Yeah.
This was. Go ahead.
I mean, there was just so many unique aspects to all the episodes. I mean, things that.
So what are some of your favorite ones?
I mean,
tell us.
gosh. I mean, I mean, I know everyone brings this one up, Allison, but the one where you're going down the hill in the wheelchair.
Like,
I
what?
know.
Oh, see,
It's
now
like
you're
it's
feeding
like a
right into
Chanel
Allison's thing that this is everybody's favorite episode.
I said it was. See,
I said it's like a Chanel. It's like a Chanel suit. It will never go out of fashion.
No.
Bunny,
And can I-
Bunny,
can I-
Bunny, Bunny. I have nightmares about Bunny.
Bunny. Justice for Bunny. That's why we have a Justice for Bunny T-shirt in our merch shop.
Oh my goodness.
We need to talk
It's
about the
like,
merch
it's
shop,
not
by the way.
everyone's favorite. I'm like, yes.
But do you want to know what's funny about that episode that I think is the funniest?
Oh,
And
yeah,
I
please
always
tell
say-
me, Kimberly, what's funny about it?
I always, oh my,
Dean needs a little love after this.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Just go ahead. It just
I'm
kills
in the
me.
car. I don't know.
this is, wait, I have to know, did you have a stunt double for this?
Or did you,
Art.
Allison? Oh,
Or
Art,
did you
Art.
do that? You did that flip?
I start down the hill. No, I did not. Some lady does the thing in the flip in the midair. I didn't do midair somersaults.
Very seamless.
Because they took me to another hill. It was actually next to the little house. It was a hill next to the little house, longer but less steep, and put me in the chair with no seatbelt or safety equipment in my nightgown, underwear, and bedroom slippers, and went, off you go, and rolled me down that.
I don't
screaming for
believe
my
you. I
life.
think you're making that up. That's not what happened.
There was no safety equipment. There was no safety equipment. They were like, it's fine. It's not like the other hill. You won't fall out. And I'm like,
It was the
bouncing around, hanging
70s.
on.
it
It was
oh,
the 70s. They were like,
70s.
we're here. Yes, you'll be fine. And so bang, 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 bang down the hill. And so I got lots of me screaming. And then I got in the pond and came up spitting. So yes.
And my favorite part of that episode, I always say I'm like Mrs. Olsen because I faint all the time. She faints off the wagon.
You
It's
had
amazing.
it all on that show. All representation of your life was on this show, Kimmy.
Kills me every time she faints. It's like the most out of pocket like time. She just kills me every time. But yeah, that episode. What else? The one
There
where
she goes.
And there you
There she
there's Catherine
put-
falling. Where do you
Tony's put
get
up the
this,
cliff
Tony
again.
Sweet?
Oh my God.
I have to now. Those wagons were tall. She had
Yeah.
to have had like something back there to.
Oh
fall.
yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
No, stack.
Definitely.
There was a big stack of like mattressy things. She
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
fall
yeah.
far.
Yeah, she
just
would
went
never. They would
good.
never would have let her fall off the wagon
No.
by her. She
And
did
I
fall off a
didn't
horse for
Facebook
real
it
one
was
time
True
and hurt
Brand.
herself.
I did not.
but
Yes.
Oh, Catherine fell off a horse.
She did
For real?
in the
Yes.
yes when Nellie was swept up by the son of the. When you got married,
farmer?
when you have
farmer.
Yes. She went on the horse to go. What the Nels make her a widow. When she
Yeah,
went to
exactly.
kill
Yeah.
my
Yes.
first husband.
and she actually fell off the horse there and
She did.
hurt herself.
She did. She hurt her back. She
Yeah.
hurt her back.
Oh no.
Yeah, yeah.
It's messed up. She had a lot of back problems. Yeah. It is dangerous being on TV.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Which episode am I thinking of that she gets smacked in the face with the tree branch? Is that the same episode?
That's
Funny.
That's the
when
camp-
I'm
is that
riding
the
the horse
camp?
and I go straight
Oh.
into the tree branch.
yeah.
Bunny.
Oh, when Harriet caught with the tree, that's the camp out. When we're
Yes,
holding
the
back
camp out.
branches and she gets branch in face.
All these
Yeah.
episodes are like combining into one episode. I can only imagine how you guys feel.
It's a blur.
I can only fathom. You're just like, was I in that fucking scene? Oh, maybe. I don't know.
And of course, your other favorite episode is Jean doing ice
Okay.
delivery and
Come on, man. Give Dean, give us a Dean episode. What's a Dean? What do you the Dean episode you love?
The one where his nephews come and visit, and they
I love that one too. Actually, that's
Where
really
they
that was
just-
really fun. The little monsters, yeah, great.
that
fun.
was the best.
that's
I'm
a
like,
great episode.
and you and Laura are just like, what do we do with these?
Yeah, right, exactly. Will we ever
Well,
have
it was the
children if
best-
this is what it's going to be?
It was
Yeah.
the best birth control you could have gotten. There you go. That episode.
Oh my goodness. Like so many. I could go on and on and on about episode after episode after episode, but I mean, gosh, the whole
I just
show.
love it's just so moving and you know, I think this is true of all of the fans, and I literally mean all of the fans, that this show has had a profound effect on all of us. That is, I've talked about this with you and with Allison and Dean before, that I don't know of any other show that has had this kind of lasting, deep, profound effect on our lives, not just on us, but our actual lives.
Yeah.
And it's just so moving, and I thank you for sharing your vulnerability and your and
absolutely,
using that in
Kimmy.
your comedy. And I'm so happy for you that it's resonating with so many people.
I mean, you're telling me I am too. I cannot believe the turnout. Of just people watching my stuff, and it's so humbling. This is my dream. Like, I want to be in film and TV. I'm going to be releasing music this year. Like, so.
With a following like what you've got, you're heading in the right direction. Given the way it works today, this is really a powerful thing for you to have this kind of following. I mean, good for you. And I think I'm watching some of your stuff. You are very brave with what you're doing. I mean, you really put it out there. There's no hedging. You really, like, when you take a position and how you know you're going to play one of these characters that you play, you do it. You go all the way there. And good for you.
Commit to the material. It's relatable. It's relatable because people, if they had those kind of parents, they go, oh, I was there. Oh, my God.
We know those people.
She was in my house.
Yeah.
And then even if they don't, they go, well, she's taking what was a terrible situation. She's making it funny. But, oh, man, wait, we know that person. Yeah, we've been in the Walmart behind her in line. Oh, God, here she comes. And they can well, it's why people, Doug Littlehouse, everybody had a Harriet at work, everybody had an Ellie at school. Everybody.
Absolutely.
And the problems, the Ingalls, like you said, the Ingalls have it worse. I at least have more rooms in my house. I mean, it sounds crazy, but people watch a show and go, look at what the Ingalls are going through and they're making it. It's like, it seemed like no matter what was happening, well, the Ingalls had it tougher. The Ingalls had it tougher, by God. And and this really, it resonated, and you're doing a thing that people can relate to. And that's,
what Michael offered to people was a choice of how to respond to calamity in your life. He offered audiences a way to consider how to behave. And I think for you, Kimmy, growing up watching it's hard to even imagine watching your father throw your mother across the room. Michael offered you a different choice of how those moments could be handled. I mean, we rarely saw moments where the temperature rose that much, but that's part of the decency too, is that they found a way. They had coping strategies as how to deal with each other and love each other.
And it shows you that you don't have to throw your spouse across the room to get your point across. You know what I mean? Or you don't have to pour a boiling pot of hot water. Thank goodness I had you guys as an influence, and like my grandfather and my aunts, because if I hadn't had that, I don't know how frankly normal I would have turned out, or like how much I would have been able to go ahead and make my own life, or if I even would have been able to come out as gay. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, so many things that I probably wouldn't have been able to do if I didn't have the confidence, and just so many building blocks that I needed as a child that I didn't get, I got elsewhere.
Yes.
I think you're speaking for so many people. Yeah.
This I want to just say this March 22nd through 24th, where the cast is gathering in Simi Valley. Do you think there's any chance you'd come and see us, Kimmy, and in Simi Valley? Is that possible?
I'm trying. I'm going to try my best. If I meet you all in person, I'm just probably going to have to sit down and collect myself for a sec, but I'll be there.
Right. Wait, you're in Pennsylvania, right?
I'm in Pittsburgh.
So, okay, you live, so you're near Lucy Lee Flippin, Alonzo's sister, Liza Jane. She's in Pennsylvania somewhere. And then
really,
we have one of our 10,000 other events we're doing. We do have a Lancaster, Pennsylvania one.
I did see that because my cousins live out there.
Okay, so you can check that one out. But yeah, you should come to see me. It's really going to be good. Well,
and Hannah wanted to get back out there too because she grew up in Lompoc.
There you go. Lompoc.
Yeah, I think it's time for a trip to California.
Yeah. I know. We were looking at the Spirit flights last night. So
God love a Spirit Airlines.
You know what? You get on, you get off.
That's all you need.
It takes me back home. You know what I mean?
Kimmy, we loved having you on the show. We thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
We appreciate everything you do too.
And I
hope to see you and see me.
Yes, and I appreciate every single episode, every line you guys spoke. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And Michael, wherever you are, man, thank you, because you're the GOAT.
Oh, that's
For
lovely.
sure. Thank
Kimmy.
you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Simi Valley, California invites you to see the place where it all began this March at the Little House on the Prairie 50th anniversary. Discover our stories from presidents to pioneers. Visit iconic locations like the Reagan Library and more. Make your own memories at visitsimivalley.com.
Okay, we're running out of time, but
Yes.
we wanted to wrap up. I think maybe we just need to do this for every show because so many people are writing in with questions and awesome comments. So we would just wanted to maybe do a couple more questions that people had. So
great.
I'm going to do one really quick. This one is about Simi Valley. Will there be any way for those of us who can't attend Simi Valley Reunion to purchase an online entrance to some of the events that are happening? I know that if I was given the chance to watch, I'd be glued to my computer screen for 3 days, afraid to miss one blessed minute. This is from Marilyn Bryson from Aurora, Ontario, Canada.
So
she says you guys know her because she's the Canadian.
I know we've met Marilyn, absolutely.
Yes.
So Marilyn, we are not going to be streaming from the event live, but we are going to be capturing the events that take place at Simi Valley during that 3 days, and parts of that will be streamed. So you will have the opportunity to see elements of it. And look, I think there's going to be an enormous amount of capture that goes on. People are going to be shooting FaceTime videos and every kind of video. There's going to be an enormous amount of stuff. We've sold over 7,000 tickets on the way to 10, 12, 15,000 tickets before we're there. There's going to be a lot of stuff that comes out of this.
Great. And one more question, although this is from Caroline Eaton Pickard, who had a lot of questions, but I'm just going to streamline it because we're running out of time. Hopefully I'll get to your other questions next time. But her last question is, in bold capital letters, why did Albert have to get cancer? This storyline is so heartbreaking, and I'd love to know whose idea it was. I think it's the same idea as the person that did the serial clown rapist and blowing up the town. That would be Michael Landon.
It was,
I'd also love to hear from the three of you whether or not you think Albert dies from his illness, since at the end of Home Again in season 9, Laura says he returns to Walnut Grove as a
that's one of the
doctor.
great mysteries in the series. Allison, do you have an opinion on that?
I do because, well, first of all, I mean, there's a whole thing. There's some story that Michael had a friend whose son died and who said, well, I could do a whole thing about grief and stuff and have Albert. But
So horrible.
Matt Laberto, who played Albert, said, no, I don't die. I said, you don't die. He goes, I get very, very sick, but they don't have a funeral and you don't see the body. I make a miraculous recovery off camera and miraculously suddenly get better and return to be a doctor. That's the story he has told himself as an actor. He said, I appear to die and it sure looks like it, but he said, I am going within my head that I didn't die. I got better.
Well, I think if Caroline's gangrene leg can miraculously heal, Albert can miraculously heal from blood cancer as well.
Yeah,
Why
I mean,
not?
I think we would have said it was leukemia that he had.
Leukemia,
right? I mean,
right? Yeah.
of
But it
course.
was 1870. So
Yeah.
I love that. I'm going to accept that as an answer, especially because it's coming straight from the source. And obviously it was Michael Landon that, yes. thought of all of these crazy.
He left it
And it was a
ambiguous.
very
There's no
dramatic
question.
and- very touching and dramatic episode. So that's what we did. That's what we did on the show.
Yeah. Well, we love this time together. I really do. I love it with you guys so much. And Kimmy was an amazing, amazing guest today. And please, everybody, keep on listening. We appreciate you so much. Keep on writing in, and we read your comments. And check out our website, www.littlehouse50podcast.
That is the.
I almost forget.
No, that
I almost
is
forgot it.
that is the web address.
That is that the website?
That's the
Yeah,
address
the
for
website.
everything. Right, so that's the
If you
TikTok
want
address,
anything,
the Instagram
go there.
address, the YouTube address. Little House 50 Podcast is the address for everything related to
All
this
the
project.
It'll link up with all the things. And I think that's it for today, you guys.
Thank you, Pamela.
Yeah. For more information about the Little House on the Prairie 50 Anniversary Cast Reunion and Festival, go to littlehousefestival.com. Okay, guys. from the studios of UBN in Burbank, California. Prairie on.
From my
See you
car.
next time. Airplane arms.
Yeah, there's no room.
And fly.
No room in the car. She can't fly in the